does the high end of the performers, your elite swimmers, your professionals, does that suffer as a result of taking this, I'd call it a softer approach in a way? It's not the hard line approach. Does that suffer as a result of taking this softer approach?
Yeah, quite the opposite. So that's the whole thing about it. So I've, as you know, like I've done some benchmarking around the place and including around the world. One of those coaches that I went and spent some time with was a middle distance coach at Stanford University, because running is something I've been really interested in the last couple of years in particular. Certainly really keen on watching swimming programs and swim strength and conditioning, but I think good running is really, really fundamental to enjoying movement and enjoying your life and having a healthy life. So his approach, and this is and he took Stanford from, they had a 56-year drought of winning middle distance running. So for the first time they got I think it was the 400-yard dash or whatever they call it, but they broke a 56-year drought with his coach that came along and gave that approach, high performance approach, which is small incremental improvements, lots of recovery. But I found the same thing going through their swim strength and conditioning and their swim coach program as well as their track stuff, was that they're real. If you turn up and you're not feeling well, generally you don't train. So, and they weren't too scientific about it. They weren't doing heart rate variability or anything like that. They were just, they did measure weight. So if you came in dehydrated or underweight or anything like that, they would say, first have a chat with you and say, well, what's wrong and what's changed in the last couple of days. And if exams are on and those sort of things, the athlete's under high stress, understanding that stress builds upon stress. So nutritional stress, environmental stress, workout stress, and then on top of that, exam stress and study stress and work stress and social stress. So if those things all compound, we know that we're going to get worse performance, but you're going to train worse as well, and that's not going to improve your performance. So a lot more rest is what's led to these, big changes in performance. So our performance across the world hasn't gone backwards with a high performance approach. So our athletes are experiencing much higher levels of mental health, mental awareness, but they're also a lot happier and performing better, going faster, and all of those sort of things. I had a chat to Dick Telford, who trained Robert De Castella and those guys back in the days, and he's a multi Olympic gold medal winning coach with his athletes, and he's got a 40-year-old that he's been training recently, and getting PBs in her mid-40s. And I said, Dick, what are you doing differently? She's getting all of these PBs at this really late stage in her career. And he just smiled. And he just goes, "Oh, yeah, a bit more rest. That's it." So the approach is really different. And for those hardcore coaches that are go hard or go home, it's really challenging for them to start resting their athletes a little bit more. But the returns are bigger.